So we have convinced many a person in Halifax to start playing Runick Plunder, which is very, very much fun. Before I jump into this though, shameless plug for Halifax Geek Retreat.
We're a gaming cafe. We offer a safe and free-to-use space for anyone to come and geek out. When I was younger growing up, there was nowhere you could go and be a geek. You were frowned upon being a geek. You hide the fact that you're a geek. And now I think being a geek is something you should be proud of. And there should be a place where you can come and say, hey, I'm a geek. We've only been open 6 months, but we've made quite an impact on people. We have people who come in who wouldn't have dared speak to anyone, and now they're coming in and they are thriving in our certain groups, winning competitions.
After now, okay, shameless plug done now. So Runick Plunder is something that I've kind of been a little bit proud of. We aren't going into the deck list for it because there is a link that will be up in the corner about the deck lists that we played, as well as all the other feature matches that we've done with this deck. So main reason for doing this is because in my infinite wisdom we have convinced 2 other people in Halifax to start playing Runick Plunder. Don't know, Matt, if you're still going to keep playing it, but would love it if you did. So then it's me, you and Jacob all playing Runick Plunder at Halifax and ruining people's lives with making lease with Fountain, which is very, very much funny. So we're actually going to go through the test hands for it because I have shown off to Matt the Coral Dragon version. I don't think I've shown it off to Jacob, and I know with a few others they don't actually know the full on combo itself. So we're going to do 3 test hands for it because chances are we're going to draw into the stuff that we need, because with a deck of 6 tuners you kind of hope for the best when it comes to things like that. So let's see what we actually get off. So we have the Bluebeard, Freezing Curses, Slumber, Bluebeard, and no tuner, which is a great start. Great start. So we can't actually get into everything that we need, and if we get hit with certain things, we might actually have a bad day. But we will start off with, I think we'll start with the Slumber, because we want these other ones because they do stuff during your opponent's turn. Slumber kind of isn't as much of a problem to deal with. So we'll go into the Hugin, and then Hugin can get rid of our Bluebeard to search the Fountain. We're going to play through this as if our opponent has no hand trap whatsoever, because once they see that the Bluebeard's gone to the grave, there's some players just start to like freak out and think, what does this deck do? What do I actually hand trap? And only is that hand trapping the Runick stuff, which kind of sucks for them. So if he ashes right now, we just make a brand, which is just amazing because it gives us the free draw and gives us back row removal and access to searching monsters. So if they don't, we will go from here. Bluebeard will... You want the Bluebeard yet? No, we won't use the Bluebeard yet. The reason why we do this also as well in draw phase is there's a card called Draw. The occasional person does main it. It is very, very sad. It hurts our deck a lot. Standby main 1, we then activate the Fountain, and then normal out our Bluebeard, and link these 2 up to make our Blackbeard. Bluebeard effects will get rid of our Flashing Fire to draw additional card. Sad. And then we will go Freezing Curses. We can't Freezing Curses here. So in this sort of situation it kind of does suck because we hope that our opponent does do stuff. We can't do as much, but it's fine because we have Blackbeard plus 2 of these, so as soon as he starts doing stuff we can actually just pop off. This isn't as good as we wanted for like our opening hand, but at least we have access to the Blackbeard and we have ways to do the draws, because as soon as our opponent summons a light or a dark, we have good days because we get the free draw into Ash. Yeah, it kind of still hurts because we don't have anything for the lease to negate for the Fountain, but Runick cards are still Runick cards, they can do a lot. Let's go for the second test hand. This is where we're going to be very good, and we're going to draw either the Golden Hair or the White Beard. We don't want to draw both, we only want one. So the second one is Black Eyes, Freezing Curses, Volcanic Queen, Runick Fountain, and yeah, we drew the thing that we needed. Yeah, this is very good. This is very, very good. The other reason we play the Queen is because I still can't own a Dogron and I still can't find a Dogron. So yes, I am poor. I accept that I'm poor, but this still is a Kaiju regardless. And since I don't play Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, I don't really care. Also, it's Kaiju that's weak. It's 25, so you can walk over this very, very easily. So we'll go Standby Main, activate the Fountain, and then we will normal out the Whitebeard and play the Freezing Curses to go into Hugin. Hugin's effect is going to... Do we want to do Hugin? Yeah, we'll do Hugin from here. Hugin discarded the Volcanic Queen. He's obviously not going to negate us because of the Fountain. But now we have double sort of Fountain sort of stuff. We're not going to trigger the Fountain yet because we want to be slightly greedy, and we have the ability to be greedy here, especially with the extenders that we have. So we will synchro these two off to make our nice lovely copy of Coral Dragon. Then we will use Whitebeard's effect to summon out the Golden Hair. So now we have full stuff. Even if we get nibbed at this point, we are perfectly fine, because now that we have access to this, if they nib us, we can just make Whitebeard token. They give us the token, then we use the token with Whitebeard to make Blackbeard and start just popping up from there. Then we go Black Eyes' effect to target the Whitebeard. Summon the Black Eyes first, add this afterwards. This is very important for the sole purpose of the amount of people that like DD Crow this. Don't. This summons itself regardless. So we add this back, and then we will turn these two into a Plunder Patrol ship, Jord, or York, depending on how you pronounce it. This card is broken. This is the best Plunder support until the Wind Ship comes out, pending Wind Ship, for if the card will be good or not. So we use Jord's effect now to add the Black Eyes back, and then go into our scale, and then from there we will generate 2 light tokens, one for ours and one for our opponent. The reason why we go for the 2 light tokens is for the sole purpose of we want the fountain to resolve. That's pretty much it. We just want the fountain to resolve, and if your opponent does some other stuff, it's fine. Dark Ship is okay, but that's dependent on what your opponent has. Fire Ship doesn't matter unless you're up against Labyrinth, I guess, and you know that you're up against Labyrinth, Lich, or something like that. That's really it. Water, why would you go water? Just never go water, because that just summons a free Blackbeard. So then we link the Coral Dragon off and the light token that we have to make our Blackbeard. Coral Dragon's effect for an additional draw, another kaiju, and then Blackbeard effect targeting himself to summon the Lease for another Plunder card. Apparently we're just playing pure Plunder today and not Runick Plunder, so that's great. The good part is, because our opponent has a token out, they can't just evenly us Lightning Storm us, they have to out this. The reason why we're not going to use List effect yet to put this up is because the sole reason is that if we summon this up, and then they negate the ability for this to go back into Spell and Trap cards, and they have no cards, so they can start imperming us and start doing other things. So we don't particularly want that to happen yet. We can wait till they go into their end of main, and then List summons this up, and then we tag out for our free draw into whatever ship we kind of need. At this point, we usually end up going for the Mork, or depending on the attributes that are available, it's either Mork, Jord, or Bran. There have been times where I do some of this because it is actually good. After a point, you don't really care if it comes back to your face up extra. It doesn't really matter. Bran is, I guess I summon this against Rescue Race. 9 times out of 10 it's going to be this, because we all play lights and darks, so it is fun. Let's try again for our third test hand. The first one was kind of a bit suckish. This time showed off the combo but without the Runick stuff, so that was kind of a bit bad. Hopefully hand number 3 will actually show off what the deck can properly do, where we actually draw Runick stuff as well as Plunder stuff. So we have a Slumber, Freezing Curses, Slumber. Oh, thank God we drew a Tuner. Especially this one. This one's really, really good. So again, we can play off with the standard stuff of Slumber in draw phase to grab us a Hugin. If this gets impermed, we'll just play as if our opponent actually has Ash and imperm, just for purposes. So we then go to normal the Golden Hair. We will synchro these off because we actually want some drawing here, because our hand kind of sucks with double Slumber. So we'll synchro these off to make the Coral Dragon, and then we will use... Do we want to go for it yet? Yes, we will go with Freezing Curses because we want more stuff here. So we'll go Hugin again. Hugin effects. Discard this. Let's say the Ashness, that's fine. We use Golden Hair effect to ditch the last slumber to bring this back. We are now, I believe we are actually plunder locked under this. Yes, we are plunder locked under this, so we can't do as much as we would like to, but we can still get some free draws. So we will get rid of these two. Do we want to get rid of those for the thing? Yeah, we will. We will get rid of those two to go into a shipyard and then use the effects draw. Sucks. Why does this suck so badly? Because we don't actually have no follow-up, which really, really kind of does hurt. Because we do have search from this, but because we don't have an equip, it kind of hurts. Because the alternative, if we didn't actually make this, was to just go straight into linking these two off to make our Blackbeard. Or the third option is we don't actually use the Runick spell, but we kind of just have to accept at this point that we are going to either make Jord for the free searching and live with this on the board, or we live with just going Blackbeard, which either way we're kind of in a bad position because we don't have anything else except for the one card that was here. If our opponent we're playing as if our opponent actually had way too many hand traps. Well, 2 hand traps, not way too many, but yeah. It still does establish a board, I will admit, and as long as our opponent doesn't kill us, we should be okay because we get free searches. And the golden hair comes back every time. Anyways, so yeah, that's it for the test hands for it. The siding for it is a bit more different. So the siding that we tend to go for more often than not is if we want the Bestials package, if we want board breakers because we're going second, or if we want rivalry. We do have the 3 droll, however I've lumped them out so I don't have trolls to show off at this moment. So droll always goes in, dependent on if we're going first, we just take the kaijus out and we put drolls in, so then we play with 6 hand traps that we can draw at any point in time. If we're going second, obviously for days. These are first and second cards depending on the deck that we're going against. We do play this because it's just under the Bestial layer, and there are times where we can go use our dark ship and then start tributing with this. It's very rare, very, very rare, but it's still good. The Druid Swarm is okay, I guess. I want to up it to 3, but I just don't have the space. The major one actually is the Rivalry itself. Rivalry. Rivalry is the one that we kind of really want to side in when we're going first. Sometimes going second as well. It depends on how much back row removal your opponent has. They tend to not side in too much because obviously once they've out the fountain, they've outed everything. So yeah, the stuff that we actually side out in the main is actually the more interesting stuff. So as I've said, we do side out the kaijus quite often. If we're going first, or our opponent doesn't make anything that we kind of care about, we do tend to side out the kaijus because these are just used for board breakers as well as giving our opponents certain attributes. When we know what kind of deck we're up against, these aren't as useful anymore, so we can just take them out, especially this one. We take out the queen quite often because if our opponent doesn't play anything that is a back row sort of deck, volcanic queen doesn't really matter. The other things that we tend to side out quite often is we will side out 1 Bluebeard or 1 Golden Hat. So it's the case of if I need more space, we can take out one of these 2, or even one of each of them, because they are actually dead after a while. Because once you've got 1 Golden Hair in rotation, it doesn't matter anymore because this will constantly come back. You just ditch cards, this returns constantly. And the Bluebeard is sort of the same thing, where it's great as an extender, but if you need the hand traps for other matchups such as the Bestials and that, these don't really matter as much. And then I guess the only other ones are the obvious ones, which Matt has said to me several times. We take Flashing Fires out if we go up against Plunder, because Flashing Fire does nothing to them. I wish I actually had more copies of Dispelling in here for that matchup, except I can't play more Dispellings just for that. And then the final sort of side thing that I do back and forwards on is if I am going second, I sometimes take this out. I know it's crazy for the sole purpose of this is what changes your attributes, this is what gives you free extension. However, if you're going second, this is a dead card because you have to be able to you have to concentrate on establishing your board before anything else does happen. If you're going first, it's great. Going second, you don't want to see this in your opening hand. You want to search it off Mork, and if you're searching this off Mork, other cards are better. All your bestials are better. Drawing Rivalry is better than this because at least if you're going second and you draw into the Rivalry, you can just flip it up and get rid of half your opponent's board depending on the match. So this is like decent level of siding. So this gives you like nearly half your side deck that you have access to, depending on your matchups themselves. Obviously, the only thing that I kind of and are about is this one over Whitebeard because this doesn't get ashed, Whitebeard does. But the fact is, you're playing so much Runick stuff and so many cards that do specific things at key points that hand trapping, well, you getting hand trapped against this, you getting hand trapped by your opponent, it kind of, they have to know how to play around each one of these. Obviously, there's resource management in the deck, so if they hurt the fountain, you're going to start playing slowly. But there are many a times where you can not draw fountain and you just start playing pure plunder and it works. But yeah. If there are any other suggestions that you guys have to how I could have probably played those starting cards better, please do give them out because I don't play as often anymore. I'm more slowly moving to judging. So yeah.